Pets Add Life, your guide to the latest in pet trends, products, and the joy of the human-animal bond, with Kristen Levine and Chris Bonifati, powered by the American Pet Products Association and DOGTV.
Love and laughter tells that wag. Balls and hearts in every tag. Grateful eyes and joyful play. Pets make magic every day. We give thanks, our hearts ignite for furry love that feels so right. They light our life. Happy Thanksgiving from Pets Add Life.
Wow.
I love that. That was so fun.
Lots of feeding from the table, though. Don't do that. And somebody, I think, had a full turkey on their couch. We may need to train the AI a little better on
I think Ron got carried away with AI.
Anyway, it is time for a very special Thanksgiving edition of Pets Add Life. I am Chris Bonifati, and I'm joined finally for the second time in a row by my true partner, my actual pal, Kristen Levine. Kristen, it is so good to see you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to be back. I really am.
Yes, back. We're in the swing of things.
Working on getting consistent again. So
yes,
we're gonna try to do 2 in a row.
You know, we're almost up to 100 episodes, and it is. It's weird that was the first streak where things kind of got away from us, and it's been, it's been, dare I say, years.
Feels like it.
Feels like it. Do you have any special plans for this Thanksgiving holiday?
Well, we're all gonna get together here at my house this year, and special plans, not really, just doing all the traditional stuff, making all everybody's favorite dishes. We always make my grandmother, my dad's side. She has the best sweet potato casserole recipe, and then my mom has the best dressing recipe.
Nice.
So we all just kind of, I got this thing figured out. I don't cook everything. I assign everybody what to
Excel
cook or what to bring.
Spreadsheet.
Exactly.
Spreadsheet.
How about you? This is going to be baby Grayson's first Thanksgiving.
Yeah, his first Thanksgiving. Hope and I trade holidays amongst our families. So this is her family Thanksgiving. Which means I'll be keeping hope they're not listening, my kitchen knives nice and sharp. But we'll be going to one of their family friends' houses with all of her siblings and family members and things like that. So it'll be really nice. Grayson is nowhere near old enough to truly enjoy Thanksgiving quite yet. In fact, I'm sure, there's one tradition of Thanksgiving that he's going to be very good at, and it's going to be a post-dinner extended nap.
Ooh, yes.
It is. So he will be all squared away on that one. And hey, if he's lucky, the Bonifati family tradition is we just sleep on the floor afterwards. Good for your back, helps with digestion. Right on the floor. So you can join Dad on the floor for a post-turkey coma. But anyway, we've got a very fun Thanksgiving-themed episode where, of course, we will have 2 guests, 2 stories, 2 products, and at the end, we will answer 2 of your questions. So let's go ahead and jump right on into story time.
Kristen and Chris present Story Time.
And that's a story time. I don't know why I did that.
That was a scary voice.
Yeah, we're past Halloween. Why am I doing scary
stuff?
You want to go first? You want me to go first? I'll let you choose.
Why don't you go first this time?
Okay. Well, we're talking Thanksgiving, and we've done a million stories and guests about what you should and should not feed your dog on Thanksgiving. But I've got a new warning I saw from BBC where I know in the UK, oak trees are very prevalent. East Coast United States, oak trees are very prevalent. And trees drop acorns. And dogs, while they have no inclination to eat acorns per se, they get curious and they swallow things all the time. And dogs can't digest acorns, so it becomes like a foreign body issue. So BBC has seen an uptick as of late in dogs swallowing whole acorns and then requiring either medical treatment or surgery. So they brought on a vet to sort of talk about it, and they said, yes, acorns are poisonous, but that's not the issue here. Dogs don't really chew them up. They just get curious by the smell. They probably don't even like the taste because they taste bitter, and they swallow them. So I just thought, hey, we're talking so much about food safety with your pets around the holidays. And I know when we go outside and we take our dogs for walks, we are paying attention to them and what they're sniffing and biting and munching on, whether it's grass or flowers or insects. But watch out for those acorns too. And if they swallow them, you may want to either bring them to the vet right away or at least monitor them and see if that acorn passes, especially if you have a small dog that manages to swallow one. That could be a real hazard. But I feel like it's the bigger dogs who tend to wolf things down without really thinking.
Well, yeah.
So fun little warning this holiday.
That's a good warning. And here in North Carolina, we have these black walnut trees, and this time of year they drop these giant, they're almost the size of a tennis ball. With obviously the walnuts inside. And what happens with Tulip is as they fall out of the tree, it catches her eye and she chases it thinking it's a ball. So it's too big for her to swallow, but
she can also
a bigger
get
dog.
bonked in the head by one.
Exactly.
You got last week it was iguanas falling out of trees. This week it's big black walnuts.
And acorns.
What's going on down there? Everything's falling out of the trees.
I think we need to start wearing hard hats.
Yeah, Tulip needs an umbrella.
Okay, well, that was a good practical story. My story is really about just how thankful we should be for great neighbors. This is, I found this story on the Dodo, and you want to follow this dog on Instagram. It's Emmy, the lab official on Instagram. And this is the cutest thing. It's gone viral. Emmy is a yellow lab that makes it her mission to visit her neighbor, whose name is Linda Rose, every single day since 2024. And I don't know what started this whole thing, but she loves to go over there. And what would happen is she would just stand at the door. And if Linda didn't notice she was standing there, she wouldn't go to the door. So what Linda did, this is what a great neighbor does. She installed a doorbell at the level of Emmy's nose. So now Emmy runs over there every day, rings the doorbell with her nose so that Linda knows she's there, and then she comes out to greet her with a treat. And I just thought that was such a cute,
that's adorable,
heartwarming story.
That is very. We needed one of those.
Yeah,
and about too much serious stuff on this show.
That's true, but it's a good reminder about how dogs love routine and how they do really well with routine. So I don't know what time of day this is, but I'm sure it's probably the exact time every day that Emmy stands by the door so her pet mom or dad, her mom or dad can let her out and go over there and ring the doorbell. But I just thought that was a cute story.
They love routine. They love community. They love treats.
They do.
Yep.
Beyond the Leash, exploring the untold stories of pet passion and professionalism.
I am thankful this Thanksgiving week for our next guest. It is Michael Burke. Michael is an animal communicator, a behavior consultant, and intuitive life coach whose work bridges the worlds of pet behavior, energy work, and deep human-animal connection. His 2024 book, Intuitive Animal Communication, Co-Create a Meaningful Life and Deep Connection with Animals, it guides pet owners in learning how their own energy and mindfulness and intuition affect their pet's well-being. With credentials including a certified dog trainer, meditation teacher, and intuitive coach, that's a super cool combination, Michael offers a very unique perspective on pets, not just what they do, but what they feel and how we can listen. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to kick it off by asking about your approach and how you combine animal behavior consulting with intuitive communication. So for our listeners that are maybe unfamiliar with animal communication, how would you define that, and how is it different from standard behavior training or behavior work?
Yes, well, so I help people. My dog is popping in here.
Aww.
On
Who's
cue.
that?
This is Luca.
Hi,
This is
Luca.
Luca. He's the puppy of the pack. He's now 4, but will always be the puppy. He's my assistant.
Yeah, he's adorable.
Thank you. Good call. You were on
All
call.
we see is his liquor. Like he keeps licking you.
He's all love. He's just all tongue, and he can't get enough. It's like he'll just lay on top of me and think he's a cat, and I'm here for it because I've had dogs over the years that are like, no, my terms, don't touch me, don't get on me. I don't want it. He's like, I want it, smother me. I'm here for it. So I'm grateful for him. So I help people to understand what their pets are thinking and feeling, what might be going on behaviorally, energetically. A lot of times when people come to me and there's an issue with their dog or any animal for that matter, it has to do with the energy and the lack of communication energetically between the human and the animal. And so, the person often is not aware of what the energy is that they're radiating and sharing and communicating beyond words. And so from the dog's perspective, the dog is essentially like, okay, you're telling me to sit, but I'm feeling me not sitting, or I'm almost getting telepathic messages of me not sitting or not behaving. And often we humans are focusing on what we don't want or what the challenge is, or we're caught up in the past or the story, or we're worried about like where this is heading in the future. We're not in the moment. So I'll tune into that, and I essentially just through intention and practice and years of doing this, I just tune in intuitively, energetically, and telepathically to the animal. And I get a feeling, I get a sense. Sometimes I'll see something in my head. It's almost like the energy is going through this database within my mind's eye, and I interpret the energy to best articulate it to the person and sort of fill in the gaps that are lacking in the communication between people and their pets.
Well, that is incredibly interesting, and I think all of us sort of experience that a little bit with our pets. We're all, we all have that connection with our pets, but it's something that you've truly mastered through a lot of practice. So my question is, for pet parents who may be dealing with either, behavior issues or just everyday common issues of pets, dogs not listening, cats that are scratching up the furniture, how can they start to practice some of this mindfulness and animal communication to improve their relationship with their pet?
Yeah, well, so the first thing I always tell people is to practice essentially meditating. And I know that can be overwhelming for a lot of people I think too much, I can't meditate, that's just too woo-woo. But it doesn't have to be that. I try to present it in a more grounded and practical way of just finding a few moments every day, just maybe 5 minutes to quiet your mind, focus on your breath, and even, a mindfulness body scan where you're scanning your body from the base of your feet all the way up to the top of your head as a method of feeling your own body in the moment. And what I have found that helps with is quieting the monkey mind, the distraction. In our world, we're on our phones and the television and just the animals, but we're really not quieting that crazy mind. And so when we just practice, focus on the breath, focus on one thing, it settles all of that distraction. So then we can be in the moment and more present to tune into the subtleties that our animals are communicating to us energetically. And it's like strengthening a muscle. If you go to the gym and you do bicep curls for a couple times, you're not going to get bulging biceps. But if you're patient, consistent, follow through, stick with it, suddenly you have this grounded presence where you can tune into those subtle energies, and then things start to come through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I am certainly picking up with what you're putting down, because I found with my my pets in the past, when I was the most frantic and anxious and worried and thinking about a million things at once, they would totally reflect that behavior. They'd be going nuts. They'd be tearing up the house and everything like that. And when I found myself more collected and grounded and actually there in the moment, because Listen, I'm not a pet, but I like to think that they don't worry about the future as much as we do. At least I hope so. I really hope my cat wasn't sitting there being like, "Oh, how am I going to make rent?" But
how many bones are in the bank?
Right, exactly. So I do think that helps you bring you to their level.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that also it made me think about when I think about the times that Tulip is my dog. When she and I have the best communication, it's when we're very one-on-one. Like if I'm walking her or playing with her or even just sitting with her and I'm not doing the monkey mind thing, with my normal day-to-day, what do I have to do next? So that really makes a lot of sense. I had another question for you, Michael. What are some of the universal communication patterns that you've observed across not just dogs, but maybe dogs, cats, or other animals?
The communication patterns between the animals and the humans, back and forth,
back and
or
forth.
amongst themselves.
Does it differ? I guess is maybe the better question. Does it differ between species and humans?
Yeah, it does differ between you mean like cats and dogs with humans? Yeah. It does in a sense where dogs tend to, as you observe them, often they're more happy-go-lucky. They can be more gregarious, or maybe super sensitive, and they're radiating that energy. They're nervous, anxious. It's much more on the surface, I find, with dogs compared to cats, where cats, using those two examples, cats are much more subtle. There's like a more complex vibration to tune into. That said, though, energy is energy, and communicating through energy, it's not like in my experience, one has to learn how to communicate the language of cats and then learn the other language of dogs, like it's Spanish and German and French or whatever. It's all energy. And so when we humans, I even encourage people to not even worry about it, worry about the differences of it, to go into it and feel the energy and the intention and be open to what you would like to receive and also what you're communicating, because then you're getting into that collective vibration that all species share, which is energy. And it gets kind of complex, but when we just set that intention and feel into that, I can jump from one of my 5 cats over here to my dog. I mean, granted, I'm experienced, but the novice still would be able to, because there's that energetic frequency back and forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And, I wanted to ask, because we're closing on Thanksgiving. This episode's airing just a couple days away from Thanksgiving. And I wanted you to share your thoughts on how practicing gratitude for our pets, and in the sense of not just what they do, but truly for who they are and what they bring into our lives, how can that deepen the connection and even wind up influencing their behavior and well-being down the road?
I love the practice of gratitude with our animals, because you hear everywhere how important gratitude is, keeping a gratitude journal. It's big in personal development. But our animals are a source, with a capital S, of love and appreciation, that eternal soul level bond that we all feel with our animals. And so we just, anybody, when you ask them about their animals, they just melt, oh, let me show you the photos. And so getting into that space, there really is a spiritual practice there of just being present and appreciating and absorbing. I often will share a meditation practice of just imagining your dog or your cat or your bird, whoever the animal is, just imagining their big face, their big mug in your head, and just tuning into that as a focal point, and just imagine your heart center just lighting up and radiating and absorbing that energy from their, that avatar of them, giving and receiving in this energy exchange, and noticing what feelings come up for you, why you appreciate them. And what I find this does, being in that space, it doesn't even have to be a deep meditation. It can just be simply sitting with them and petting them. It elevates our energetic vibration to a level where we draw to ourselves similar, matching, elevated, high vibration energy, goodness, great synchronicities, manifesting really wonderful things in our lives. And our animals, at a real visceral, deep level, feel us when we are in that space. And so we're helping them, we're co-creating an elevated energetic vibration together where that animal is being so tuned into energy. They feel that when we are basking in that gratitude and love, and they lift up with us. It's almost like giving them the opportunity to feel elevated. And so then we're like at this elevated vibrational level where so much more greatness can come to us in all areas of our lives and their lives. And that could be related to behavior too. You're sort of putting them on this energetic pedestal of gratitude and shining the light down upon them from our heart centers. And they're like feeling that, and it's like giving them the opportunity to be more of their love and greatness.
Yeah. Yeah. And Michael, I just was noticing you have such great energy. I love the light coming behind you. You've got it just really complements your energy.
That's just me. That's not.
Yeah.
Like you're just glowing.
I'm kidding.
So we are coming up on time, Michael. So tell everybody where we can find your book.
Yeah, so my book, Intuitive Animal Communication, is available everywhere. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, local bookstores, internationally. The audio book is available everywhere, Apple Music, Amazon. Yeah, available everywhere.
Yeah, and this week we've got Black Friday and next week Cyber Monday coming up. So it'd be a great gift idea for somebody on your list. And then lastly, Michael, where can we find you if we're interested in having a consult with you?
Yeah, my website, which is michaelrburke.com, michaelrburke.com. I'm also on Instagram at Michael Burke Official and Facebook and TikTok. Same handle for all of the platforms.
Awesome.
Guys on the internet.
He's all over the internet.
Yeah.
Love it.
Internet.
Yeah, I'm covering all bases.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving with your family. And it was great meeting you.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for having me, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody and their animals.
Well, what a treat there, Kristen. And hey, listeners, if you're not watching on video, you missed Luca, you missed the gentle glow, you missed a sick Patagonia sweater. So you got to hop in on video. But what a really interesting topic, because I think there's some extremes where people would call it a totally real thing, this idea of energy for the pets, and there's the other side that would say it's total pseudoscience. There's nothing to it. But anybody who has a pet knows there's a connection, knows that there's something there. And it's really interesting to talk to somebody who's really honed and practiced that craft and can share ways for you to do it yourself.
All right, please join me in welcoming Dr. Mark Freeman. He's a clinical associate professor of community practice in the Virginia Maryland College of Veterinary Medicine at Virginia Tech. Now, this is where he teaches companion animal medicine and client communication to future veterinarians. A diplomate of the American Board of Veterinary Practitioners and a certified veterinary acupuncturist, Dr. Freeman has over 3 decades of experience in a small animal practice. And at the Virginia Tech Veterinary Teaching Hospital, a lot of words in that sentence, in Blacksburg, he and his team see a surge of emergency visits during the holidays, which is why he's here today. He's going to help us out. And this is prompting him to publish an annual guide on hidden holiday hazards for pets. So from multiple meal syndrome, which I can't wait to hear what that means, to toxic plants, tinsel, batteries, and static electricity, Dr. Freeman's evidence-based approach reminds us that keeping pets safe during the festive season requires awareness and diligence. So just 2 days before Thanksgiving, we couldn't think of a better guest. Welcome, Dr. Mark.
Thank you, Christine. I appreciate it.
It is a pleasure to have you. And, as I said, great timing. Every year you guys are seeing an increase in pet emergencies around the holidays. What is the most common emergency you see in your practice?
Almost always it revolves around the holiday meals. Pet owners tend to feel very generous around the holidays where their pets are concerned, and they love to share with their pets. And when you have a special holiday meal, you'd like for your pet to get to enjoy some of that as well. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things that we eat that are just really not good for our pets. And so we see a lot of problems with gastrointestinal upset, and unfortunately, because of turkey bones, foreign bodies, and things that just make the holidays a much less enjoyable experience for everybody.
Sure. So I feel like I know a lot of the things that I shouldn't be feeding my pets during the after the Thanksgiving meal. But can you just run down some of the top things to keep in mind or to not feed your pet?
Yeah, absolutely. So probably the biggest thing is to think about categories of foods. So any foods that have a lot of fat, those are going to should be off the list completely. So things that have a lot of butter, things that have a lot of, like the turkey fat from the cooked turkey, those are things you should stay away from. Things that have a lot of spices and seasonings, those you should stay away from because those are really hard for pet digestive systems to metabolize. So if you want to think about things that are safe, you should think in the terms of what would you feed a baby. So things that are very bland, typically single ingredient or not more than one or two ingredients. So things like mashed potatoes, as long as they don't have lots and lots of butter on them. Just the white meat from your turkey, from the inside of the turkey, nothing close to the skin where the fat's going to be. So the white meat from the turkey is okay. Mashed potatoes are okay. Cooked pasta, as long as it doesn't have a lot of other things on it. So if your mac and cheese is loaded with butter and red pepper and the things that we like to put in our food, maybe don't go that route. But typically staying away from the things that are like really spicy and really rich. That's going to be the things that you want to avoid.
Yeah, and keeping in mind that whatever would be safe for a baby would be safe for your pet. That's a really smart way to think about it. And that should be easy for Chris because Chris has a new baby at home. Oh. So yeah, I love that. Because I think we tend, as pet parents, we tend to think, oh, Tulip would love this. She would love the taste of this as opposed, and that's our treat for her as opposed to, what is actually safe for her. So in the guide that I mentioned in the intro, you talk about the beyond the usual chocolate or poinsettia concerns, that there are lesser known dangers that we need to be aware of. What are some of those?
A lot of things that we see, and it happens around the Thanksgiving season because that's the lead up to Christmas, and that's kind of when all the decorating and things start. So, things that you wouldn't think about, but Christmas decorations, things that have batteries. For whatever reason, dogs love to chew on batteries, and they will swallow them whole. Christmas decorations that have, either wire or tinsel or bits of plastic, things that they can swallow that could potentially cause an obstruction or cause problems. So we do think about the typical toxins, things that we want to try to avoid, but there are a lot of other things that need to be considered. Another one that I personally put a little emphasis on that's not on the list, I don't think. There are a lot of issues that we see with pets with behavioral concerns around the holidays, because pets are being bombarded with friends and family coming to the house and disruptions in their routines and disruptions in their schedules and disruptions in their feeding schedules. And pets don't tolerate that very well. Pets like every day to look exactly like every other day. So changes in routine can really be challenging for them. So I do put a lot of thought into how can we make our pets' lives more pleasant and more comfortable during the holidays, in spite of the fact that we want to spend time with friends and family and have those special meals and holiday times.
Sure. So might that look like some quiet downtime for our pets throughout that season?
Absolutely. Your pet should have a nice quiet place they can retreat to if they need to. If that's a bedroom, if that's, a laundry room or a bathroom, someplace where they can get away from crowds and noise if they want to, and not have to deal with that.
I know I would like to get away from it. When I have a house full, I could use some downtime myself.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
We'll have to keep that in mind for our pets. You also coined the term multiple meal syndrome. What does that mean?
That also happens around the holidays. Our pets are so, in most cases, our pets are so accustomed to their scheduled feeding. We get our morning meal, we get our evening meal, that's pretty much it. Around the holidays, there's a morning meal, and then there's, okay, we're going to have brunch today, and okay, we're going to have family over for early afternoon dinner today, and then we're going to have family over for desserts and party games, and these pets are getting a meal and another meal and another meal and another meal, and that's really, really disruptive to their digestive systems. It's unfortunate. This is it's one of my pet peeves where it comes to pets. We put our pets on scheduled feedings because it's easier for us and makes our lives more convenient. We feed you in the morning, we feed you at night. That then also means that we have to be responsible for what the pet is eating and how much the pet is eating. And so our pets learn when mom and dad put food in the bowl, hey, that's my time to eat. I'm going to eat. So around the holidays, if we give a morning meal and then we say, oh, let's have a snack with the brunch, and then let's have a snack with the early afternoon dinner, and then let's have a snack with the guests for partying games and desserts. They're going to eat it because you're giving it to them. And so they just eat, and then they eat, and then they eat, and then they eat. And all those meals stack up, and that's way too much for their digestive system, and can seriously cause them a lot of discomfort.
Sure. And another thing that happens too is if you have guests in your home, you may have multiple people feeding your pets treats and you're not aware of that. So I would assume that you would advise the pet parents to ask the guests not to feed the dog or the cat.
Or sometimes it's a good idea to plan ahead. If you know you're going to have guests and you're going to have company and you know there's going to be people who want to give the pets treats or food, withhold the morning meal. Take that morning meal and set little bowls of kibble around the house and say, when you'd like to give a dog the treat, here's a bowl of kibble. Give the dog some treats out of the bowl of kibble. That way they're getting their regular meal at a different time, granted, but not getting the extra stuff and the treats and the things that are hard for them to metabolize.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to think about it. I like that. We talked a little bit earlier about ornaments and batteries and things like that. And actually I saw a viral video on social media the other day where a dog bit into a battery and it lit a fire on the carpeting in the house. So it's not only dangerous for them to ingest, but those things can spark fires. And speaking of that, what about heating devices or heated blankets that are electric?
Those things all need to be taken into consideration if you have pets. Our pets, we love them dearly, but we know that they have some habits that we don't like. Dogs and cats both they love to chew on things. Things that have wires in them are especially tempting. So a heated blanket has wires running through it. Oh, that is a wonderful thing for a cat or a dog to chew on. And those wires, if they chew into those, they can get electrocution. They can spark fires, just like you said. So anything that has wires or batteries in it, that really needs to be thought through. Those need to be kept, I'm not necessarily going to say completely out of reach, but you need to be aware if you have pets that those things are there and they could present a problem. Space heaters, kind of the same way. We love space heaters in the winter because it's so nice to snuggle up next to a heater and get good and warm. That can be a challenge for our pets because they don't recognize that the heat source is the issue. They like to be warm too. They have long, fluffy hair. They snuggle up next to the space heater, and the next thing you know, they've set their tail on fire. So you do have to be aware of those potential things that can occur.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me ask you a little bit about your work in training the next generation of veterinarians. How do you prepare your students, not just for the medical side of pet care, but also for the communication and, the emotional challenges that come with guiding families through, tough times with their pets, like an emergency, for example?
Mm-hmm. That's probably one of the most challenging aspects of my career is that communication portion of what you do. Because my role in the hospital is what's called a general practitioner. I see pets for everything from puppyhood vaccines all the way through end-of-life discussions in euthanasia. And so I have the opportunity to see a pet through its entire life. So I have really had to practice my ability to, communicate with a new client, with a new puppy, and talk about all the things that we talk about, and then immediately go into the next exam room and talk to somebody about the fact that their pet has terminal cancer. And those conversations are really challenging. You really have to build within yourself a capacity to compartmentalize, to be able to, you don't want to ignore those things and just shut them down, but you do need to be able to say, okay, in this case, I have to focus on this. In this case, I'm going to focus on that. It's a really tough thing to teach to students because it's something you just kind of have to go through and experience. We do a really good job, I think, in demonstrating for students those situations and circumstances to show them how you might navigate a conversation like that. So we work hard to help them recognize that those are things that they're going to face in their careers, and just being able to say, in this instance, this is what I have to focus on, and then in the next instance, I have to focus on this instead.
Right. Well, on behalf of the entire Pets Ed Life team, we thank you for the work that you do for pets. We know it's not easy. Some days, some exam rooms are happier conversations than others, and we know it can be a stressful job. So we are coming up on time. So let me ask you, where can our listeners find your Holiday Hazards Guide?
Honestly, I'm not even sure. I know through the Virginia Maryland College of Veterinary Medicine website has access to almost all of the guides that we put out for different seasons and events. So if you go to the Virginia Maryland College of Veterinary Medicine website, you should be able to find that.
Okay, well, we'll find that link and we'll put it in the show notes to make it easier for folks.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Freeman. Happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to you.
Thank you. You as well.
All right. Bye now.
Well, we had some technical issues there that made me unable to ask questions, and it was
Chris had to sit still and be quiet for 12 minutes.
Impossible challenge for Chris, but I did, and it's obviously, Kristen, you and I, we've done a lot of these talks with vets about this stuff, so we're pretty well versed in the do's and don'ts. But it is great information for people out there if you're just getting a pet now, or you're hosting for the first time and you're having a lot of family over. These are important things to follow. You're probably not. Luckily, it's Tuesday. Thanksgiving's in a couple days. This might be the first time you're actually thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with the dog when all the family comes over? So thank you to the doctor for sharing those tips. Download that guide. Kristen, you're a hell of an interviewer. It was an absolute pleasure to listen to you.
I can do it by myself if I have to, but I much prefer to have the two of us doing them.
Yeah. Well, I'll get in on the next one. How about that?
Okay. Sounds good.
The product of the week.
It is time for our product of the week. Thanksgiving edition.
You spit all over the mic when you do that?
Yeah, it's everywhere. You should see my computer screen. It's nasty. I did my story first, Kristen, so why don't you kick us off with your product?
All right. This is a cool product. And I think I mentioned this in the last show at the end. We had to set the clocks back earlier in the month. So the days are getting shorter. And so I chose this lighted collar for your dog. It's by Night Eyes. It's called the Night Howl, not Night Owl, Night Howl LED safety necklace. And what is cool about it is it comes in a 27-inch length. So you can cut it to fit whatever size your dog's neck is. And it doesn't even have to fit like a collar. It doesn't have to fit snugly. It can just literally be like a necklace. And it lights up. It comes in different colors. It's got a 360 full ring LED illumination, so your dog is visible from all angles. The colors it comes in are red, green, blue, and my personal favorite, disco color blending mode. So it's got like little disco lights going on it. That might be a little annoying for your dog though. It's weather resistant, so it's good in any kind of rain or shine, and it does have a rechargeable battery, and it lasts for 1.5 hours. Wait, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. It lasts for 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours.
Yeah.
This thing is great. I've seen it at Global a whole bunch, and I got to tell you, folks, I see so many people in my neighborhood walking their dogs at dusk without any sort of high vis anything, and you're just asking for it. You're just asking for something to go wrong. You should be wearing something reflective on your body at dusk, not when it's dark. Dusk is actually the most dangerous because of the way light blends, and the driver's headlights really aren't doing much yet. So from dusk until the sun comes back up, you should be wearing something reflective, and your dog should be wearing something reflective, or one of these cool LED lights will serve the purpose just fine and help light your way. I think
You
that's
could buy
a
two
great
of them.
pick,
I mean,
Kristen.
maybe you wear one and your dog wears one.
Yeah, I would definitely wear one. I think I wore one to a rave once, way back when.
You probably did.
What's
yours?
My product is not as fun, but it's good for the holidays, especially if you are expecting a lot of guests like you are, Kristen. You're going to have your whole family over.
Yep.
And if Tulip is anything like the pets in my life, Tulip's hair is all over your furniture currently, and you need to get it off. So I've always been on the look for the perfect lint roller because I love my classic, sticky tape lint roller. But I've been searching for the improvement, and I found this one from Chomp Chomp. And it is reusable and looks great. Nice white handle. You just roll it across. It's got sort of like this these rubber teeth on the inside, and it feeds all of the hair into one chamber. So you just sort of pop that open and clear all the hair out, and just keep going. So it's multi-surface. They say couch, carpet, clothing, bedding. Great for cats and dogs. Comes in a few different colors. Gonna run you $25 right now. I think that's a great investment. You never have to buy the sticky tape again. Get those couches clean before your in-laws arrive and judge you.
Good point.
Fear their judgment. Win them over. Have clean couches. You could thank Chris later.
Yeah, you don't want anybody getting cat or dog hair in their mouth, like when they're eating Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Yeah. Listen, we're used to it as pet parents, okay?
Right.
I lived with cat hair in my mouth, okay?
Right.
But now that Tiger has been gone for a few months, it's great not eating cat hair. I gotta say, it's the one of the things I don't miss. I miss finding her hair, although we do still find her hair in places, which is really sad. That's really sad.
Yeah.
But I don't miss taking a bite of food and pulling a big old cat hair out of my mouth. So you could be the hero your family needs. Get the lint remover.
Q&As.
It is time for our product of the week. Thanksgiving edition.
You spit all over the mic when you do that?
Yeah, it's everywhere. You should see my
Gross.
computer screen. It's nasty. I did my story first, Kristen, so why don't you kick us off with your product?
All right. This is a cool product. And I think I mentioned this in the last show at the end. We had to fall back, set the clocks back earlier in the month. So the days are getting shorter. And so I chose this lighted collar for your dog. It's by Night Eyes. It's called the Night Howl, not Night Owl, Night Howl LED safety necklace. And what is cool about it is it comes in a 27-inch length. So you can cut it to fit whatever size your dog's neck is. And it doesn't even have to fit like a collar. It doesn't have to fit snugly. It can just literally be like a necklace. And it lights up. It comes in different colors. It's got a 360 full ring LED illumination. So your dog is visible from all angles. The colors it comes in are red, green, blue, and my personal favorite, disco color blending mode. So it's got like little disco lights going on it. That might be a little annoying for your dog though. It's weather resistant, so it's good in any kind of rain or shine, and it does have a rechargeable battery, and it lasts for 1.5 hours. Wait, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. It lasts for 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours.
Yeah.
This thing is great. I've seen it at Global a whole bunch, and I got to tell you, folks, I see so many people in my neighborhood walking their dogs at dusk without any sort of high vis anything, and you're just asking for it. You're just asking for something to go wrong. You should be wearing something reflective on your body at dusk, not when it's dark. Dusk is actually the most dangerous because of the way light blends, and the driver's headlights really aren't doing much yet. So from dusk until the sun comes back up, you should be wearing something reflective, and your dog should be wearing something reflective. Or one of these cool LED lights will serve the purpose just fine and help light your way. I think
You
that's
could buy
a
two
great
of them.
pick,
I mean,
Kristen.
maybe you wear one and your dog wears one.
Yeah, I would definitely wear one. I think I wore one to a rave once, way back when.
You probably did.
What's
yours?
My product is not as fun, but it's good for the holidays, especially if you are expecting a lot of guests like you are, Kristen. You're going to have your whole family over.
Yep.
And if Tulip is anything like the pets in my life, Tulip's hair is all over your furniture currently, and you need to get it off. So I've always been on the look for the perfect lint roller because I love my classic, sticky tape lint roller. But I've been searching for the improvement, and I found this one from Chomp Chomp. And it is reusable and looks great. Nice white handle. You just roll it across. It's got sort of like these rubber teeth on the inside, and it feeds all of the hair into one chamber. So you just sort of pop that open and clear all the hair out, and just keep going. So it's multi-surface. They say couch, carpet, clothing, bedding. Great for cats and dogs. Comes in a few different colors. Gonna run you $25 right now. I think that's a great investment. You never have to buy the sticky tape again. Get those couches clean before your in-laws arrive and judge you.
Good point.
Fear their judgment. Win them over. Have clean couches. You could thank Chris later.
Yeah, you don't want anybody getting cat or dog hair in their mouth, like when they're eating Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Yeah. Listen, we're used to it as pet parents, okay?
Right.
I lived with cat hair in my mouth, okay?
Right.
But now that Tiger has been gone for a few months, it's great not eating cat hair. I gotta say, it's the one of the things I don't miss. I miss finding her hair, although we do still find her hair in places, which is really sad. That's really sad.
Yeah.
But I don't miss taking a bite of food and pulling a big old cat hair out of my mouth. So you can be the hero your family needs. Get the lint remover.
Love it.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week on a very special Thanksgiving edition of Pets Add Life. But before we head out, Kristen, why don't you share with everybody what you are thankful for this year?
Oh, okay. Well, I have lots to be thankful for this year. It's been kind of a tough time these last few months for our family. And my family and my friends and even just people in our community have really come together to support us. And it's just been wonderful. So I'm really thankful for those relationships, and they mean more to me than ever before. So what about you, Chris? What are you thankful for?
Well, I just had a baby and have a lot of support from a lot of wonderful people, but that's obvious. So what I'm really thankful for is the amazing crew behind the scenes, Ron and his gang putting the show together on DOGTV side of things, all my coworkers at APPA for propping me up while I yell into this microphone for a few hours every week, and all the lovely listeners who, without you, I would be screaming into the abyss. And it is good that in this instance, the abyss yells back.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for listening to our silly little podcast about pet parenthood. It means the world, and we'll be right back next week.
That's right. So go stuff that turkey and the Kong.
Pets Add Life, your guide to the latest in pet trends, products, and the joy of the human-animal bond, with Kristen Levine and Chris Bonifati, powered by the American Pet Products Association and DOGTV.